Hello friend, my hopes is that today this video brings you a little bit of sunshine in your crafty corner wherever you might be in our beautiful world that we share. Today's episode, we're going to be doing some coastal farmhouse decor pieces that have a high-end finish using Dollar Tree supplies. Now come along and let's make something beautiful for our homes. I found this charger at the Dollar Tree and I have a bunch of these stickers on hand, and it's so cool when a project just evolves into something I was not expecting. Now I knew I wanted to make this charger have a really fun sign on it, and I knew that I wanted it to look coastal farmhouse. But I didn't know the direction I was going to go as I was putting down these stickers. I knew that I wanted to paint it, but I wanted texture. So I'm going to show you what texture it's going to eventually end up being, but first let's get the stickers on. So I have a trick whenever I'm doing stickers like this to get a negative paint space. I like to stick my stickers down really well. I rub them, making sure there's no crinkles, there's no weird lifts, or there's no, just basically any bubbles. Smooth it out as smooth as you can, rubbing them down nicely. When they are all stuck down, I went with "This is the Life" on my sign. I thought that was kind of a fun beach idea. You're sitting there on the sand by the coast or a lake, wherever you would want to be on a nice summer day. I thought "This is the Life" is what I want to put. I now am going to take the color that I'm going to be working with, which is white, and I tap on the paint. I don't go super heavy on the first coat. We want to create a seal so that the paint doesn't sneak underneath the sticker. Once I had it dry with my heat gun, I then went over with a couple more layers of this paint. Coming right up to the edge where the pattern and the galvanized metal look meet, I'm going to bring all the white in, a couple of layers, like I said, making sure it's very wet and still not dry. I then am going to take some of this white sand I get from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to simply just roll that all around in the paint. This is the easiest way to do this. I decided not to go with Mod Podge because we don't want to stick the stickers down permanently, and the Mod Podge will definitely do that. So I'm going to leave it with the wet paint, come on with the sand, and don't worry, I'm going to show you how I'm going to seal it in just a second. Now at this point I got all the extra sand off and the texture is so cool. I'm now removing the stickers. I'm using my weeding tool from my Cricut. You can use anything to pick this up, an X-Acto knife, whatever you have that's pointy that can lift it. And I'm going to simply remove all of the stickers. Now you can see I do have a little bit of bleeding that came through. It's not a big deal. I'm going to take my weeding tool and a wipey, and I'm going to clean up the last of those little edges. But you can see how me doing those steps really prevented a lot of the bleeding. This is how I seal it. I'm taking some extra hold hairspray and I'm going to really saturate the sand. That is going to lock it all together. And if you still feel like it needs a little bit more, at that point, once the hairspray is completely dry, go ahead and add on Mod Podge if you want at that point. Now to clean up the edges, I'm going to use some nautical rope. I'm going to go all the way around where the paint and the pattern meet up. And then to conceal that little piece, because I had a rope that was just so long enough, you can get a piece that's long enough. You can add a bow, you can add whatever you want. But because I'm going for a coastal farmhouse look on this, I'm going to take a shell, add a piece of foam inside of it with E6000 and hot glue so it really bonds together. And then I'm going to come in with this cream eucalyptus, this very textured summer grass floral from the Dollar Tree, and then as well as this boxwood. I'm bringing all these neutral tan colors together to get that farmhouse look, but also a coastal look. I'm going to add some more hot glue. You can see I came in on both sides of the shell with that greenery, and then I'm going to just simply glue it down. And at this point you have the most beautiful sign for just a couple dollars. This lantern has gotten a lot of FaceTime on a lot of YouTube channels, but I want to show how I would style mine. I love these lanterns. They are a great Pottery Barn knockoff dupe. Grab them if you're doing weddings or summer parties, whatever it is. These are so beautiful. Also pick up a tall cylinder glass vase, a candle, and some sand. I think this would be so pretty to style these outside at an outside wedding, and it would just light up the night. Now I'm going to take my sand, I'm going to put it into the glass hurricane. I'm going to fill it up where there's probably about 2 inches of sand in it, maybe about 1.5 inches. It just depends on how much sand you want to put. And then after you've got your sand in, you're going to go ahead and place your candle inside. You could also put water in this with a floating candle, and that's really pretty too, but I really love the sand, and this is just how I would personally style it. And then put this into your lantern. Adding the glass inside really does illuminate the light even more. I hope you'll give this one a try and use it for an upcoming party. For this project, we're going to be using this gold tray from the Dollar Tree, which I think is so beautiful, has such a high-end look. I took a piece of paper, I cut a pattern to get the sizes of the drop cloth and the cream burlap, as well as some shells is what we're going to be using today. Now, once I had the size for my fabric, I went ahead and just glued both pieces in. Using my hot glue, I'm going around the corners and then pressing down the fabric nice and straight. I'm doing the drop cloth first and then the burlap so that you don't see the gold poking through the thinness of the burlap, but it's still giving that really beautiful coastal look. Glue it all down, but remember when you're working with hot glue and burlap, it does like to seep through, so I would recommend working very quickly or using a popsicle or some type of a brayer to smooth out the fabric without getting your fingers burnt. Now I'm finding 3 shells that are the same size, and I get my shells from the Dollar Tree as well. And then I'm going to take some foam and cut these down to size. If you just glue the shell onto the fabric, it's going to look messy around the edges of the shell because the glue is going to be seeping everywhere. So I would recommend cutting down little pieces of foam, adding some E6000 and hot glue, sneaking that down in there. It fits nicely and it actually lets you smash it in there where it fits perfectly. Once you've got all 3 shells prepared, then you can take your hot glue and glue that directly to the fabric. This is going to allow it to hold in place. It's not going to fall off. It's made well. That's my favorite kind of craft project, is when we do a good job making it well so it looks high-end. And surprise, you made it. Your guests, when they come into your home and they see these kind of projects, will say, oh, that's so pretty. And then you'll get the honor of saying, I made that, which is such a fun feel for a crafter. Now to clean up the edges of our fabric, I'm going to take the nautical white rope. I'm going to go all the way around, and at the very bottom, you don't have to do this at the bottom, but I want it to look farmhouse. I'm going to use a chalkboard garden tag and just kind of clean up where the ropes are coming together. So I'm going to take that garden tag, I'm going to pop off the stick from the back, and then I'm going to glue it into place. This is super easy to do. I think there's like 4, maybe 5 that come in a pack for $1.25, my favorite deal. And I always get them around spring, summertime, and it's really easy to really give a farmhouse look by adding these little tags. Then to dress it up a little bit more, I'm gonna add a button and a bow. Surprise, surprise, it's a Heidi project. But I'm gonna add a burlap bow with a golden button to go along with the golden tray, and I'm gonna glue that all into place. It looks so high-end and coastal farmhouse at this point. I love how this looks. Don't forget, if you're going to hang it up, flip it over, add some nice dollops of glue, put down a rope, glue that into place so it all locks in nicely. Then at this point, you have such a beautiful project to hang up somewhere in your home that is such a showstopper. I can't wait for you to try this one. I know you will love it if you love Coastal Farmhouse. This project is such a fun one, especially if you have shells that you have collected from a trip that your family has taken. You're going to get one of these little boxes. It has such a farmhouse flair with this little metal tag. It reminds me of the old library boxes when you look up a book. We're going to get some foam. We're going to cut that foam down to size. I always like to clean up my foam as I go because I just have a hard time working in messes. That's just me personally. So I'm going to clean away all the dust from the foam and cutting it down to size. I'm going to add E6000 and hot glue to the bottom of that foam, and then I'm going to glue and secure it down into the box. Then after that is glued down and in place, I'm then going to take my shells and I'm going to pair them up as close as I can to the same size. We want it to look like an actual clam where both sides meet up. And we're doing this because we are going to turn these into a keepsake, which is why I was saying this would be so cool if you collected shells from a trip. Now, the trick with this is that we want to make sure we can bring the shells together without them falling apart. So I'm taking pieces of foam that I cut down to size, I squish it down into the shell with some E6000 and hot glue to really lock it in, and then I'm going to take these craft sticks and I'm going to smush that down onto one of the pieces of foam, add on some hot glue, add on some E6000, and then I'm going to bring those two shell pieces that are the same size, I'm going to bring them together. This is going to lock in that stick, and it makes it look like a clam that's on a stick that you can use as a display for a decor piece. Now you will see a little bit of that foam, squish it together the best you can, but we're going to conceal it with some sand. Take your hot glue, squeeze all into the crack, making sure you're getting it all over that foam because you don't want to see that part. And then we're going to take the sand, and I get the shells from the Dollar Tree, the foam from the Dollar Tree, the craft sticks, the box, all of this stuff has come from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to roll that around in the sand while the hot glue is still hot, and I'm just going to tap that all around in there, concealing it all, and now all you see is sand. So it has a very nice finish, very high-end looking. Now to conceal the foam in the box, I'm going to use some of the Spanish moss. I'm adding a lot of glue. I'm going to tap that on top and then take a craft stick and push that moss down in between the foam and the box so it has a very clean edge. I want to see the box. I don't want to see all the Spanish moss coming over the edge of the box. We want to make it look as clean as we can. So just simply push that down in between the crevice of the two, and then give a little haircut if you feel like it's still too a little wild. I did that, I didn't show that part. But snip away anything that looks a little too crazy. Once everything is all tucked in there nicely and it looks tidy to your liking, we're now going to start adding in the shells to the box. I pre-punched a hole with my stick. I added in a bunch of glue. I'm putting in that craft stick, adding in more glue. And I really want to make sure it's really glued in there so that these don't, lean to the side over time. To conceal that hot glue, I'm just taking some of the moss, I'm pushing it up around the neck of the stick. And then to help it dry quicker, and to keep it in place, I'm just using some of these little clamps from the Dollar Tree. And you're just going to clamp it into place while it's drying. And friends, this ends up being the most memorable, really cool decor piece, especially if you took a trip to the beach or a lake and you find shells of some kind. All of these projects today were really easy to create. I hope you give them a try, especially if you like the coastal farmhouse look for the summertime. I sure do, because I was born and raised in California. These projects today are so fun to make, and I hope you will give one of them a try. Now, if you've missed it, friends, I am back to posting 3 times a week. I have had a whole bunch of new videos come up here on my channel. I hope you will take a moment to click on my little avatar picture that you'll see to the left at the bottom of this video, and head over to my channel to check out one of the other many new videos, just in case you missed them. I have had about 7 new videos, including this one today, that have come out that I think you might enjoy if you love crafting as much as I do. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. If you haven't yet, it always helps out my channel and it always means so much to me. And don't forget to click the subscribe button if you're new here. I'm going to recommend this video right here if you missed it. It was from the other day. And until the next episode, bye friends.